Hi, I'm Nick Rodriguez with the Squid Ink service team, and welcome to the first video in our Orion series covering the Orion marking and coding software. Today we're going to be discussing getting started with the software. Welcome to the first video in our series covering the Orion marking and coding software. With this first video, we're going to discuss the steps about getting started with the Orion software, how to set it up and get yourself in a position where you can create messages and get that over to your controller if need be. The first step in this process will be to go ahead and download the free version of Orion on our website, which can be found at squidink.com. Once you're there, you're going to want to go ahead and travel to Products and all the way down to Marking and Coding Software. You're going to want to select Orion. From here, you go ahead and click this little icon that will allow you to download the software. Please keep in mind that you may need administrator rights and passwords to continue or to complete the process of downloading Orion. There will be a couple of prompts that will need to be completed. Once the software has been downloaded and installed onto your PC, we can go ahead and look for the Orion icon here. You'll see that you'll have two new icons on your desktop. One is the Squid Ink Orion, and the second one will be the TCP utility, which comes with the Orion software. This utility is used to test TCP IP commands for applications that need that. So for today, we're not going to be focusing on that. We're just going to go straight into the Orion software. So we'll double click on this icon here and wait for it to pop up. Now, Orion likes to think, wants to know a few things before it gets started. First off, it needs to know what it's printing on. It wants to know if it's printing on a box, a label, or what have you. If we look underneath the print station name, which we'll get to, you can see your different options that come with the software. General box is what we're looking at here, where we can identify the different surfaces of which we want to add printers to, front being this longer surface here. We also have two-sided box, which automatically goes front and back, which is common on most taper applications. Pipe cylinder, this is good for extrusion applications where you have the product that's just basically continuously moving forward. This is good for that right here, so you can use that. And if you are printing on something that's not a box or anything like that, this label may be the better option for you. And what this does is it narrows down the window of Orion so that it knows exactly what kind of surface we're printing on. Today we're just going to use the general box, and we're going to use the front surface. So I have that checked here. I will go ahead and now name my print station. Now, a good way to think about print stations is that these are either locations in your facility, different production lines or what have you, or just a general message storage location on your PC. If you have several lines that are doing multiple products and aren't sharing the same messages, it may be a good idea to have one print station for each one of those lines. If you're in a position where you have one or more lines all sharing the same message pool, then this will be you can just make one print station. So here we'll go ahead and just name this, we'll go Orion Training. Let's correct that R. There we go. 15 inches is fine for my test here, but I can change this. We can change it here, or I can go ahead and write in what my width is. This is important for the system. We need to know how long that surface that's traveling in front of the printer is. So width is going to be the most important measurement here in this spot. Height becomes important when we're adding multiple print heads. So from here, I'm going to go ahead and hit next. This is a level of redundancy. You can go ahead and name your surface if you don't like front. Most people just leave it. So we'll go ahead and finish. And at this point, it's going to want to search for our printer. Now, there's a couple of different ways that we can add a printer. Since Orion already knows what we're printing on, now it wants to know with what. So we can automatically locate, which is good if you are connected with a Ethernet cable directly to your controller or through the network, or you can manually specify. Let's go ahead and take a look at what both of those look like. We're going to go ahead and take a look at manually specify a printer. We're going to select that icon there, and what you'll see is this menu here, the printer properties menu. Here, if you're in a position where you want to get a head start on making print messages and you have your controller on hand, or if you are not going to be networking in the future with your controller, you can go ahead and type in a valid serial number right here. For today's example, we are using a Copilot Max Turbo controller. So our serial number is going to be, and I'll type it in, it's going to be CTT MAXA 211010. You'll know that you have a valid serial number up here when these options here become illuminated and show you. Based on the serial number that I typed in, you can see that Orion already knows that it is a Copilot Turbo. And on that serial number as well, it knows that the printhead type is a Copilot Max Turbo 1024 jet. Now here we can identify the number of printheads per controller, maximum of 2. Today we're just going to use 1, but this is an option here that you can set up if you want to create 2 head print messages. At this point we can go ahead and select OK, and we can add it to our print station. However, the other option here with manually specify is if you don't have your serial number handy and you don't know what it is, the other option there that you can use is this virtual printer box here. So if I check that, you'll see that it populates at the top with a serial number, and this is a bogus serial number. This is a number that you won't see in the field on a controller, but it allows Orion to go ahead and know what you're trying to make messages for. So once you select virtual printer, you want to make sure that you identify the correct printer type, Copilot or Copilot Turbo. Today we're using the Turbo, and the printhead type. You know, even with the Turbo controller, we have multiple different options. So you'll have to know some of that information beforehand. Once you have that selected, you can go ahead and hit OK. And this is what you'll see. You'll see your serial number, the virtual number that it pulled up, and the number of heads here that are available. The next option here, after we've just explored manually specify, will be to automatically locate the printer. Now this is an option that you'll use if you are planning on networking to your controller, meaning you're going to run an Ethernet cable either directly to the controller from the PC or connected it to a network location somewhere in your facility. So from here we're going to go ahead and select automatically locate, and what you'll see is the computer right now is going to go out there and kind of try to locate anything that is connected either wirelessly or directly to it. And here's our list that you can see that we found in the building. What we're going to use is we're actually physically connected to this controller here. You'll see the IP address and the serial number. These are good ways to verify what you're connected to. Now, I will point out that the reason we were able to find this so quickly is because we are utilizing DHCP. Every Copilot controller that leaves Engage at Squid Ink will be set up to utilize DHCP, so Dynamic Connection Host Protocol, where it will assign an IP address accordingly. So that's what we have here. If you need to use a static IP, we can cover that in another video and show you exactly where to set that up. So for now, we're going to go ahead and use this one. I'm going to drop down that little plus sign here so you can pick the number of print heads we want. I want to check that box. Today we're going to make a one-headed print message, so I'm going to make sure I have a checkbox under print head 1. And then I'm going to go ahead and hit OK. Now, since it's actively connected to it, it's going to ask you that it's going to need to connect to it to retrieve the configuration data from the controller, and that's just pulling the settings from the controller itself. So we're going to go ahead and hit yes. When you've connected you've connected your print head or your controller correctly to your print station when you see something similar to this: your name of your print station itself, the substrate, the surface that we're printing on front, and then you'll also see the serial number of your controller and the number of heads. This tells us that we are configured correctly, and we're able right now to go ahead and create a message. So at this point, we can go ahead and click up at the top. We're going to hit this new icon, and it's going to ask us what we want to name this new message. And so what I'll do is we'll go ahead and just do training. Let's do it, right? And then hit OK. Now what you should see on your screen is something similar to this. You are looking at the print window here of our system. All the lengths, the height, the width, and the depth are all right here. One of the things I will point out is you can see the serial number information of the system that you are making this message for, which is located right here. And then this little, or not little, but this space here, this white area that you're seeing in front of you, it's got a red line at the top and a red line at the bottom here. This is your printable area. So anything here is, I can put a printable element and have that print in that location. So we'll go ahead and cover what those things are shortly. So now that we have our print station configured and we have an ability to go ahead and create messages here, you see we've got a message tab here that tells me my name of the message. We haven't made this message yet, but we will. We'll cover all these elements that we can create and print with this Copilot Max printer. But first I want to kind of discuss applications that need a license. Orion, as we stated in the beginning of the video, there's a free version of Orion that you can find from our Squid Ink website. That gives you pretty much almost complete access to the software itself. We have 2 tiers of licensing that are beyond that. The first tier, the first tier would be the free license. Tier 2 would be a license that is needed for when you want to network to multiple printers. If you have more than one of these controllers on your line and you want to be able to network to them, the Tier 2 license may need to be purchased and then implemented. Also, if you are utilizing the database connection or the database server feature, you'll also want the Tier 3 license as well for that. So let's go ahead and see where we would implement that license, right? The first thing we need to do after we have this established, our print station, will then be going to File, and down here in the lower right hand corner you'll see Orion Activation. this will bring you to the license activation menu. This is easiest if your PC that you are currently loading Orion with or setting Orion up for has internet access. It'll be a much smoother process. You can automatic the activation. Manual activation will require you putting in a code here as well. So at this point, you can see when you select this menu, you can see the type of license that you currently have, which we see here, one free printer license. If I want to change that, I would go ahead and put in the license number right here. And at that point, it would allow me to activate it down here. Now, I'll point out that each license, no matter if it's tier 2 or tier 3, has a total of 3 activations per site. So that means 3 different PCs, laptops, tablets can have that license loaded onto it at the same time. There are extensions, and I believe that's something that we can that can be purchased as well. But for now, just this is where you would put in your license, hit activate. Keep in mind that after you do that, you have 2 more activations with that license if that was the first one. Now that we've discussed the licensing, let's go ahead and talk a little bit more about our Copilot controller configurations. We'll close this menu here, and we're going to go ahead and locate the printer that we had previously established to our print station. Again, this is the serial number here. That should match this serial number. So green indicates that Orion, if you see green here, indicates that Orion recognizes and has connected to it in the past, which you can see here, last connection. I'm going to go ahead and double click down here, and that will reconnect to my controller. When you see a blue icon down at the bottom, that means that Orion is actively communicating and is connected to that printer. When you double click on a serial number down here, you'll see this menu pop up on your screen. This allows you to establish and set up the configurations for the controller, same as you would on the controller itself, your print direction and all that. So let's go ahead and take a look at all of these tabs. This first tab that we're looking at here, General, will give you some vital information on your system. Obviously, you'll get you your system type, serial number, firmware, and software versions. These will let you know if there's an update handy. You know, if you have a older version that you're connecting to and your PC's up on Orion, or not up on Orion, but on the internet, this will populate saying, you know what, there's an update that can be used here for your firmware or your software. Right now, it looks like we are all up to date with our printer. So that's the General tab. Let's move on to the font lists. This will increase with more messages that get added to it. Our controller right now virtually has no messages on it. It's a brand new controller for us. So this will fill up with fonts as you proceed. Each message you send to the controller, it will also come with the fonts here. So usually this is not the most important segment here, but we'll go ahead and go to the next one. We'll go down to network configuration. So if your facility wants to control the IP addresses that they are using, we can go ahead and establish that here. We can tell it that, you know what, I don't want to use the DHCP, which is what it's set up for right here. I want it to use a static IP. We can go ahead and give it this the values for that IP address right here. This can also be done on the controller, so it does not have to be through Orion. Just so you're aware. This is also important because it gives you the MAC address as well for those for other networking possibilities for this controller. So some useful information here. We're going to just bring it back to obtain the IP address automatically and move on to our next tab, which is the print configuration. So for most folks, this is going to be where more of their attention will be brought. Anybody who wants to be able to control completely your Copilot systems can do so from this tab here. We can change our direction, we can change our encoder, all the settings that we could put into the actual controller online, we can adjust and change here as well. And so again, once we make these changes, you will have to go ahead and say, if I made a change here, I don't want to go 40 feet a minute, I want to go 50 feet per minute. When I hit enter, what you'll see is that once you make a change, up at the top here, we'll see save and apply. Now I can go ahead and hit that. And what it's doing is it's changing the actual speed, feet per minute, from 40 to 50 on the controller that I'm connected to. You can do this with any one of these settings in the back here. It's reestablishing its connection. So again, for anyone who's looking to control the settings, make adjustments, and not have to be on the line or be making those adjustments on the controller, it can be done via your network and implemented here. Again, once you make any changes, you're going to want to hit save and apply, and it'll go ahead and change those settings to what you want on the controller. There's a couple of different other things here that we can utilize as well that are important. Specifically, enable or disable printing, which is good for disabling the photo eye or the trigger source in case there's maintenance that needs to be done on that line that the controller or the system's installed on. File clean. This option here will allow you to wipe out all the messages on that controller so you can start fresh, right? If you have way too many messages that aren't being used, but you only have a couple that you want to use, you can delete those here and then resend them if you would like. Sync date and time. That's going to sync date and time to your PC. If it ever goes off, it's good for daylight savings times or something like that. Custom keyboard, we can go into creating a custom keyboard for you. That could possibly be in a different video, or I think there's a segment in the manual as well that covers that pretty thoroughly. Operator mode, which allows you to lock out the controller so that all the control for that Copilot controller is done via Orion. And calibration reset. If the touchscreen of your Copilot controller seems to be slightly off, we can go ahead and use this this menu, the selection, to initiate a calibration reset. So that pretty much covers controller configuration portion of this. Besides that, you can see your production counter, your ink levels, and all that here. So lots of good control and usage here for your controller that you are connected to. Again, I'm Nick Rodriguez with the Squid Ink Service Team. Thank you for watching our video on getting started with the Orion software. If you want to find more videos and you found this helpful, feel free to look for us on the web or on YouTube. Thanks again.